guys, thanks for joining. I know it was a little bit of a late one tonight, so appreciate you sticking around. We'll go right into questions as always. You guys can ask too if you have them. We'll start with Ben and then go to Jacob.
Yeah, BJ, just looking back at, I guess, I know it's not halfway through the season, but this first portion of the season, 33 points from the opening 14 regular season games. Does it feel like you guys could have put many more points on the table, or does this feel kind of like a best case start for you guys?
I think when you look at the performances and you look at the results, I think we're going to walk away pretty happy. Of course, you're going to look back at games where maybe we didn't win and we thought we should have, but there's probably games that, we grinded out and suffered and won that maybe we shouldn't have. So, I think kind of, everything kind of shakes itself out, but we're really proud of the group, the mentality that they're putting in, the contributions that we're getting from multiple players, the amount of experience and big games that guys are getting. And I think that's going to pay real big dividends for us as we kind of move into the second part when we resume.
And you just mentioned just grind it out. It feels like there have been a few of those in the last few weeks. Does that give you, I guess, any optimism going into the second part of the year, hoping that you'll have some guys back, but knowing that you've been able to get results in games like this, even when you're shorthanded?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of these experiences that you go through, you have to become sort of like battle tested, and we're exposing a lot of guys to those elements. But at the same time, you can see how hard they're working for each other. Even when we're not at our best, we're able to find ways to win, and guys step up. And I think you're seeing even in different phases. What now it's we're really going on some set pieces that we need to step up and do. So that's what good teams do. They find ways to win, and they find ways to not concede, and like tonight. So I think all of these experiences will help us.
BJ, I think this may have been the first time in Nashville SC history that both starting center backs scored in the same game. I guess what about this matchup, if anything, made it a strong matchup for Maxwell and Jason?
I think it's the commitment of the group. John Bayo does our attacking set pieces, and I think it's again, he has a process on how he analyzes and installs, and I think you give the players a lot of credit for executing. And to score on set pieces, you need a couple things to happen. So it's not just the finish; it's the blocking, it's the movement, it's the service, and all those elements. And again, we're going to need guys to step up throughout the season to score. And you saw Brian and Costa do it earlier this month, and now you got Jason and Maxwell.
With Jason, he didn't play a single minute. I think during his first month here in Nashville. He came to the starting lineup last April after Walker's concussion, and really hasn't really been out of it since. I guess what kind of stood out to you about the way he's just adapted to the MLS this stage of his career, just over the last year or so, and kind of when did you maybe realize, I guess, how effective he was?
No, I mean, I think you give credit to the scouting department for identifying Jason. He's always had the traits. I think there's a lot of times when you come to a new country and a new league, there's just an adaptation process. And if you told me that he went from January to April to adapt, that's pretty fast. But again, I think he's got a skill set that fits our style. He's a player that can win duels. He's a player that can play in the channel, defend in wide areas. He's a monster inside the penalty box. And then I think he reads the game with the ball well and makes good decisions. So, again, I think him and then the partnership with Maxwell has been really strong.
In the first half, I believe you and Hani had a little bit of a conversation on the side there. I mean, was that something? Were there instructions given there, or I guess what went on there?
Yeah, it was just an opportunity because there was a pause sort of in the game that we were just trying to figure out our defensive shape a little bit, and so he was kind of telling me what he was seeing, and I was trying to obviously take that in and then check it on the video and make sure we could make those adjustments.
And then long term, with this break coming in, as you are hitting their stride again, you've been performing throughout the season. Is there a worry that this kind of long pause will stop the momentum a little bit?
I don't think that's how we think. So we think about what do we need to do when we go into this break to become a better version of ourselves when we get out of the break and resume, kind of playing. And I think everything we are focused each day and how we have to do that to just get better. And listen, I think you're going to see a different version of a lot of teams in this league with the break and kind of the transfers. So, we'll start fresh with a blank slate, and we'll come back and try to, make another strong run.
PJ, a victory obviously is a victory and a goal as well, but is it different for you as a coach when you get to see your two mid central backs scoring in the game?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think you want, those guys are selfless. They do all the dirty work. They're not looking for their recognition. They're not looking for their name in the headlines. And, but it is nice to, to give them their recognition. And I thought, again, tonight they executed well, by scoring, but I also thought they played really well in the back and had to handle some really, difficult moments.
And what is it about this place that George's part that keeps, it's a place where you keep not only not losing, but winning games, and this seems like it is the place where you really show, the team shows that their true identity.
Yeah, I mean, I think the team's built its identity to be reflective of this city and to be reflective of the people that come here, and come support us. And so we know we have an obligation to do that. We understand what type of privilege that is to come out here and play, and we are committed to giving everything that we have out to them. And at the same time, it's a partnership, right? We feed off their energy and their ability to sort of support us and push us when we need it. And then I think you can see that connection when the game is over. And we'll never take the support for granted, and we'll always come out and give we'll always play as hard as we can.
We'll go Gentry and then Nick.
Yeah, PJ, the next couple of months, how much time will the team have together? I'm not sure how it works in terms of the guys who aren't playing in the World Cup. I mean, like when are you able to work again, and how much are you planning to work?
So there's a mandatory break that occurs for every team from the league, and then we'll resume back in mid-June, and I think we resume training in mid-June, and if I'm not mistaken, I think the first game is maybe July 16th or 17th versus Atlanta. So we'll work from June, the middle of June when we resume up to the game in Atlanta.
And to follow up, what do you need to do to become a better version of yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's I think some of the foundational pieces that we do, the way we build up, the way we want to finish attacks, we just need to get a little bit, back to the basics and kind of the foundation. And then I think there's just some elements that I think we can sort of evolve a little bit, whether that's without the ball or sort of, game situations. So I think for us, it's, just looking to reinforce some of the things that we do well. And also maybe trying to adapt and evolve a little bit, knowing that, teams are going to start to play a little bit differently against us.
PJ, kind of piggybacking off of Claudio's question there about the fans, just do you sense and feel the culture of soccer in Nashville is starting to really get more immersed in the sports just dynamic across all sports here in the city?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not from Nashville, so when I moved here, I could instantly feel that this is a sports town, right? People are engaged, people follow, people are passionate about it, and that's, I would say, across all the sports here, but specifically, you can feel Nashville SC. And we obviously see it in the stadium, but my kids are in school, and there's kids wearing jerseys and families supporting the team and bumper stickers and license plates and bars, and people are watching. So yeah, it is really I think been here and only continuing to grow as a soccer city, and more importantly as a sports city. And I think everybody will turn out in 2030.
Yeah, sure. And just a real quick follow-up on that. How does that make you feel as a head coach of a professional team here in the city? I assume that you take that with a lot of pride.
Yeah, I mean, I take it with a lot of pride, but I also understand that I have to be a steward of it. I have to continue to help grow it. I have to respect and reflect on the people that were here before me. And then, I have to obviously do a really good job and focus on the opportunity that I'm here. And then, I think we have an obligation to our younger players in our academy in Huntsville to make sure that, it becomes sustainable when any of us leave. I hope it's not soon, but we all know we'll leave at some point, and we want to make it better than when we came. And for us, I think that's, our little moment on the timeline of Nashville Soccer Club over the next whatever amount of years. We just want to make sure that that's a memorable time.
You mentioned there the MLS Next Pro and just Huntsville and so forth. Is that still I'd say one of those things you want to focus on in this World Cup break? Are they still playing games as that goes on or no?
Yeah, they will play, and so they're, obviously we'll always be connected. That's how we are. We're very collaborative in this club, and so we'll continue to support them. And and they'll obviously continue through the break.
Ben, you have one more?
Yeah, I can just project.
This is so the Zoom here. This is perfect. You're doing everyone a service.
I just wanted to ask about Maxwell's goal, but also his celebration. I know you talked about how he and Jason aren't necessarily doing it for the recognition, but it does feel like he's come in and brought a lot of energy. Just the way that he brings guys up to the stand after the game and gets into it with the crowd. Did you see much of his celebration? And I guess moments like that, as a guy who's obviously invested in these players as people too, what does that mean for you?
I did not see the celebration, but I'm sure it was great and positive and sort of, full of energy because that's authentically who Maxwell is, right? And so what you're seeing on the field on how he plays and how he's so committed, but also how he brings players together, and that's him from day one when he walked in the locker room. He is a guy who brings people together and is really, bought into what we're doing. So that's what I really have a tremendous amount of respect is like what you see is exactly what you get, whether it's Monday morning at 8 a.m. or tonight with the megaphone in the supporter session. He's just a great person and a real positive influence all the time.
Thanks, guys. We'll be right back with Maxwell.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Peter.
Thanks for sticking it out.
Recording stopped.
Have a good break.
Same. You guys too. Hopefully you get a couple days off.
Yeah.
Just be watching. Just watching World Cup.
Yeah. Days off, never heard of it.
So long, even with 48 teams.
I've been praying for the last 2 months that Pep Guardiola will be the next elite national coach. I pray.
I saw some.
That would take
I saw some
insane.
Well, he's one
Praying, I don't know.
I saw a meme. It's like the year was 2038. It's the first 120 team World Cup. At least.
Still another thing. Well, yeah, Pep still owns his house in Brescia apparently, and he
In where?
Brescia.
Oh, I think you said Russia.
No,
What's the connection here?
no, yeah, Brescia.
Like
used to- He actually, I think, coached Pirlo. No, Balotelli at Brescia way back in his early days. So
Who did that?
He also still owned a apartment in New York City, so clearly good with that.
that's unless this is next.
Think he'll go to
Maybe by
Colorado Rapids. He's not going to the Colorado Rapids, but
yeah. I think for Italy's sake, I think it'll probably be Mancini again, or Roberto Mancini. From whatever I'm reading online, but